Hello guys, today we're going to talk about how you can efficiently upgrade your echoes and some tips and tricks. But first, before we jump into that, I just want to mention in general some quick stuff. If you're a new player, you don't really want to start farming crazy amount of echoes before you reach databank level 21. Because if you look down here, you can see that even at 20, you still have a chance to get 4 stars. So you really want to get 21 before you farm echoes. Like, that's just one of the key things to getting echoes and making sure you get them at 5 stars, because that's the highest rank you can get them at, or highest tier. That's just a really good thing to do. And also, let's just jump in here. You of course need seal tubes, so upgrade them, and then you tuners to tune them and get the substats. That's also really important, and that's what we're gonna talk about today, how you're gonna efficiently use them and not waste them. And with that, I have my Cartithia here, and we're gonna do some rolls. So as you can see, I've already rolled pretty good stats on most of my echoes, and there is some that I still want to reroll and get a bit higher. But to do that, I need to do it efficiently and make sure I don't waste resources. And I'm just using Cartithia as an example here, because I still want to improve her a bit. So the first thing you want to do is check what your Resonator wants and the Resonator you're upgrading. Make sure you know what main stats they want and substats before you go in. Once you get some echoes upgraded, so you have those echoes that they're good enough to just put on your Resonators, and it's looking like this. Usually you go for 1 4 cost and 2 3 costs and 2 1 cost. Like, that's usual. Cartithia is just a bit different, but we'll not go in deep to that. But this trick works even better on Cartithia because she uses 3 1 costs. So once you've gotten decently enough echoes, what you want to do is farm a echo that you don't have here yet. So let's actually go into the data bank and just use the tracker again. So let's see. So I have the Glacial, Fusion, and Spectre Drake. So what I personally would be focusing on is getting Havoc, Devotee, and Zacess. Because if I get one of them good enough, I can replace either echo here. And that's just really good. And you should be doing the same when it comes to 1 cost and 3 cost. Because that give you a high opportunity to replace them. For example, if we take this Glacial Drake I have right here, and I only roll for another Glacial Drake, the only thing I can replace is this Glacial Drake. But with the substats you have here, and all the combinations you can get of substats, there is actually a chance that you get something that might be better than the Spectre Drake, for example. But you might get something that isn't better for the Glacial Drake. So maybe I get another piece where I get high crit rate and high crit damage. And as you can see, I already have decent crit on this Glacial Drake. And basically the only thing I can improve is getting like a H on the Glacial Drake. But if I were to get decently high crit rate and crit damage here, I would be able to replace the Spectre Drake instead, so I get more guaranteed damage by having higher crit rate. So things like that can be really important, and it will actually save you a lot more. Instead of getting an attempt where you replace one of them, you can actually replace and adapt which slot or which echo you replace. So that's the first thing. But I was thinking I'm just gonna show you some steps here. What I usually do is just bring them to +10, and we then tune them and see what we get. We actually got pretty high crit rate here, so it's worth continuing here and see what we get. We got attack percentage, not the greatest. So if you happen to get into this situation and you're just starting out building your Resonators, I would go to +20 here and see if you get that CD, because just getting a piece like this in the beginning on any Resonators are really good with CR. And I'm just gonna continue this for the sake of the video. I don't really need this echo, but there. I didn't get that great of stats. I would have wanted like crit damage there, or maybe like HP percentage, because that's what Cartithia needs. But I wouldn't waste the resources to get to plus 25, because if you check here, all of a sudden you need so many seal tubes to upgrade the Echo to plus 25. And it's a huge gamble because you don't have a crit damage yet. So I wouldn't do that. So instead, if it's a new Resonator, just equip it and be happy with plus 20 for now. And then you could go in for another Echo and see how that works out. And remember, always go for an Echo that you don't have up in here, because then you have the highest opportunity to replace and adapt into the situation depending on what substats you get. It's a bit of an RNG. Let's see if we can get a really good one. So again, to plus 10, you do 2 tunes. Those were really, really bad. Not good at all for Cartithia, so I'm just gonna stop with that one straight away and not waste any more resources at all. And it's also really important that you discard them. And I'm gonna show you that after this one. Also, really, really bad. Cartithia doesn't need attack. The Resonant skill bonus, even though it's not one of the best stats, it could be useful from time to time. But if you're new, you might not have seen this one. We have now put up these echoes for discardment. And instead of using echoes like this, where you put them in, you will actually be wasting resources if you do it this way. Because sometimes you just get way too much XP up here because you're using an echo that's already leveled up. Waste resources that way. However, if you go into the backpack, you go down to the bin down here. We go into the filter down here on the left. We sort by discarded. We can select all, and then we remove. And this way we get all seal tubes and tuners back this way. And we can once again go back to the echoes on our resonators and use the resources more efficiently once again. So now, instead of having echoes that we put in here, we can go back and putting in seal tubes and make sure we don't waste any seal tubes or echo XP and be as efficient as we possibly can, because it will be an issue with tuners and echo XP. It doesn't matter who we are. Eventually it will just become a problem, because you will try and min-max everything you got on these echoes and to get the highest potential out of your resonators. It's just one of those things where you will have a way better time if you do this efficiently. I've actually been punished myself because I wasn't efficient in the beginning on one of my accounts, and it's actually hurting a bit to think about it even. And I don't want you guys to do the same mistake, so make sure you don't bring up and gamble too much with the substats on your echoes, because if they have a 2 or 3 bad stats right out of the gate, it's not worth it. If you get a crit rate or crit damage in the beginning, in the first 2, then you can continue with them. So I'm just gonna do another example. So if I were to get crit rate or crit damage here, that's when I would continue. I mean, these stats are actually really, really great for Cartithia. She scales off HP and she also needs any region. So I could continue with this, but this one needs to be like crit damage or crit rate. Heavy attack, not the greatest. And now we are in that area where I probably wouldn't continue. And it's all up to you if you would continue with this, but I personally wouldn't, because I mean, I could do it for the video, but I personally wouldn't most of the time, because it's not worth the gamble. See, we got more HP, and to replace the Glacier Drake that we already have, we need high crit rate and decent crit damage as well. So if this were crit rate instead here, it would have been fine, but it wasn't. So once again, we wasted a bit of resources upgrading that echo. That's why you want to see at least a crit rate or crit damage in the first 2. And if you get no good stats when you go to plus 10, I would just not upgrade the echo anymore. So that's a bit of a walkthrough on echoes and how you can be efficient, because you will need to upgrade a lot of echoes in the future, and saving your resources as much as possible and being efficient with them are really important. But as always, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.